so my oldest sister decided to say to me, oh, basically, we think that you should speak to the cousin to speak with what the problem is. Sorry for the voice, but literally that's what they sound like. And I said, okay, cool, because you know what, I had enough. I was really, really pissed off, and it takes a lot for me to get angry. I'm not really an angry person. I'm very calm, and been through so much abuse, so much things that's happened to me in my life that I have tamed the darkness in me. I don't really do well with chaos. I repel from chaos. I don't do well with, when people want to argue with me, the best thing I do is walk away, because I'm not an angry person. I just feel like, and that's one thing I've learnt from my dad, you know, even when growing up, when there would be family feuds and stuff, my dad would be like, okay, you're going to argue, and then like, what's it going to solve? It's not going to solve anything. I feel like I picked up a lot of my dad's traits in terms of like, I've just always wanted to be peaceful, because I've already lived, my life has just been hard. I've had a hard life. I've not had it easy. I've had to work for every single thing that I have. And I mean that literal. But anyway, regardless of that, yeah, so my sister takes me out with this big old woman and this cousin of mine, and we sat on the bench in the garden, and everyone decided to go inside. But yeah, it was like everyone was like at the door trying to hear how the conversation was going to go. So I was sitting in the middle, and my sister was there acting as if she was going to be a peacemaker, when I know my sister just literally don't like me. She's never liked me. She's just, yeah, well, I'll get there in the end. I'll explain a bit more. But anyway, we were in the garden, and I basically just, she said, you know, I don't really know why you have a problem with me. I said, I don't have a problem with you. The problem is that you have been talking so much horrible things about, you're making lies up about me, and you're speaking to other family members about me. And I basically just told her everything that I knew, because she obviously wasn't aware that another cousin had me in another conversation of her talking about me. Literally, and you all lot say that you love each other, but you all would set each other up. You lot all don't even like each other anyway. But cool. So I basically told everything that I knew and everything. And I said, you know, at the end of the day, yes, you are entitled to your own opinion, but what had happened between me and the fellow relative and my older sister is between us three. It has nothing to do with you. You're sticking your nose in something that you don't actually know. You don't know anything of what happened. You wasn't there. You didn't know what the conversation I had with the relative, and you're sticking your nose in, and you're coming for me. You're sending for me, but you're not actually sending for me. It don't make any sense. Now you've come in, you've immediately brushed past me. You haven't said sorry for your loss. Why are you here? You're here because of my dad has died. My dad has died. That's meant to be your uncle that you never actually cared about. And you're creating animosity. Everything was fine before you came. You know, the least you can do is show your respect. At the end of the day, I have not come for you. I've not sent for you. I don't even know you. And she felt very embarrassed. She absolutely did. She didn't know what to say. She just kept on saying, "Oh, how you look how you're talking to me." I said, "Well, of course I'm going to be talking to you like this. You've been rude to me, you know, and you're cussing me behind my back." And the funny thing is, with my family, it's always behind your back. It's never direct. And I find it crazy. I said, you know, at the end of the day, you're my oldest cousin. I'm meant to look up to you. You're meant to be setting me an example. Like, why couldn't you just come to me? Like, literally, I think that is literally what I said to her. I said, I wouldn't appreciate it if you just come to me and express how you felt about me. We kind of spoke about it like grown adults, you know. She felt embarrassed. My sister was just there. I don't know what she was there for. She was just there for decoration. She wasn't standing up for me. She wasn't backing me. She was just there. And then basically, yeah, I just said, you need to mind your business and just stay away from me, basically. Then she got up, and as she went in the room, into the kitchen, I was still in the garden, And my other cousins who I was talking to at the time, they came in and they said, oh, what's going on, what's happened? And I just started crying again, and I was just like, you know, I've just had enough. Like, there's only so much I can take. I'm gonna go home. Like, this is just shit. Like, I shouldn't have to be dealing with this. This is all about my dad. Like, my dad just passed away, and you want to come and bring drama. Like, I'm just gonna be the big person and leave, because I just don't see this. I feel like they're gonna start stuff now. As I was outside in the garden, my older cousin, this idiot, because he literally is an idiot, an abusive one too, he came out and he was like, oh, you're an idiot, just basically saying, oh, who you talking to, Malika, all this stuff, talking like this man knows me. This man don't even actually know me. This is the thing, these cousins, I don't even know them on a personal level. Like, every single time I've been around them, I've been kind to them. I've not done anything to them. Like, I am literally baffled and bamboozled at why they have vim for me, why they don't like me. It's so strange to me. It's so strange to me. Like, the way that they behave is like absolute hooligans. Yeah, he just basically was like, oh, you talking to, trying to step to me like this was beef, after he was disrespecting the house. He come here with his weird friend, and they're all smoking up weed and that. Like, they were just so disrespectful. So I just said, you need to leave, get out of here. I don't even know why you're here. Just arguing, trying to defend myself, and everyone's just standing there watching everything happening. Everyone's just standing there. Then I hear commotion in the kitchen. I wasn't at the kitchen at the time, but there was like a whole commotion in the kitchen. There was just loads of screaming, and I heard the cousin, the older lady that I was speaking to, she was like, oh, she's starting on me. So clearly I put two and two together. She's obviously been embarrassed because I shut her down and I told her some home truths, because she got involved in something that had nothing to do with her. Number two, it's none of her business. Number three, you come here, what you come here for beef. It's weird. Like, why don't you just stay at home? You don't even like my dad anyway. You don't like me, so I don't even know why you're here. You don't even like my mum as well. Like, you don't even rate my mum. Evil auntie of the Wicked West. She said, oh, I remember hearing her saying, oh, it's in her head. She's sick in the head. And obviously she's talking about me. So I'm just putting two together. They're trying to say that I'm crazy. Because obviously that was the rumours that was circling around when I was at Great Yarmouth. I just heard there was just so much chaos in the house. My older sister was trying to push them out of the house. They were like, she was trying to portray that she was on our side, saying, yeah, we need to get them out of the house, we're going to tell them to leave, just leave. The whole time she was on their side the whole time. It's not even about sides, it was about what was right and what was wrong. And at the end of the day, this is our dad. Everyone was a witness to what had happened. Yes, sure, everyone has their own opinion, but everyone had seen the dynamic and I had seen what had happened. And sometimes I think everyone that ate that curry goat, was there something in that pot that I don't know about? Because it was literally like everyone had lost their marbles. And everyone was gunning against me and my younger sister, which was just so strange. It was just so weird, because me and my younger sister, we were being supported towards my birth mum. We were helping other people. We were dishing out food for people. We were crying. We was talking about my dad. We were doing nothing wrong, but yet it flipped and everyone went against us. It was crazy. Went outside, and I remember just going outside and I'm seeing my nephews are crying, and it was just heartbreaking to see that they had to experience that, because they're so young and their granddads passed away, and it wasn't fair on them to have to see this. You know, they shouldn't be seeing this. That you need to protect the kids, you know. And I just remember seeing my nephew cry, and it was just horrible. And my nephew was saying, oh no, daddy's gonna leave me, and there's just a lot of things that were being said by my nephews, and it was just like so traumatic. My younger sister was outside, and I remember she was crying, and my birth mum was walking towards her, and they were cornering. It was like I was watching a horror film. like we were in the medieval times, and they were all closing in on my younger sister. And if you know me personally, you know how much I ride for my sister. My sister is everything to me. She's my family. She's what I wished for years as a child. You know, she's like my long lost twin. And literally I am born a twin. You know, my twin passed away. And when Rihanna came into my life, it was like God sent her to me to help me to have a childhood. You know, everyone that knows me knows that like my sister's everything to me, and I'll do anything to protect her. When I had seen all of my cousins and my family and my birth mum closing in on my sister, they cornered her into the bins outside on the driveway. I lost it, and I said, yeah, since you can't pick on your own size, since you all hate me, let's go. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, come on. I was ready to fight all of them. Our sister decides to put her hands on me, and she grabs me and she throws me on the side. And I said, oh, really? You're going to let all of that happen to your baby sister? You're going to sit there and watch that happen? And people saying the police are coming, and then they decide to get in their little mini Scooby-Doo van that they drive around in, and they pissed off. My younger sister, she's just hysterically crying. I'm trying to calm her down. My older half sister decides to try and bad her up and say, oh, get in the car now. And I said, absolutely not. I think it's best that she comes with me. Half sister just looks at me. She just stares. She's just staring at me. That was the end of the evening. We all kind of went home, and we were trying to calm down. I'm trying to figure out what has actually happened. It literally felt like I was in a horror movie. Like, when I mean like real horror movie, it literally felt like I was in some sort of witch hunt. It was weird. It was just such a weird experience. I've never seen anything so ghetto in my life. And I'm laughing, but it's either I laugh or I cry, because even when I speak about my experience, it just doesn't even seem real. And it's like this actually happened in my life, like raw, from my own family. And when I came back to my flat, basically my younger sister was in a car, got dropped off by my half sister's partner, this, baby father, and the one that just has it out for me. And he basically was trying to feed some dark thoughts to my younger sister about me. Was basically saying how, I'm dangerous and I'm a horrible person. Trying to get her away from me. And this is very common, especially with me and my younger sister. Younger sister have a very close bond. We are closer in age, and we do a lot of things together. We have fun, we live life. Our bond is always been a target. People always want to try and ruin my bonds with my sisters, but even my birth mum has tried to come between me and my sister many thousands of times. He was trying to do that with my younger sister, trying to tell her to stay away from me and all this stuff, and that was a bit crazy. Moving forward, I'd say it was a few days after the night, I got a call from my sister's my half sister's partner, and he was just basically like, are you around? Are you available? Can I talk to you? I'm outside. So I was like, okay. In my head, I was thinking, is he going to come to me to speak about what happened at my dad's night? My half-sister's partner portrays to be a calm individual, portrays to be a man, a masculine man, portrays to be a peacemaker. Do not get me wrong, he has been a peacemaker in the past. Since my older half sister had expressed to him my opinions of him, I knew he had it out for me. So I kind of had a feeling that he was coming to talk to me. I hadn't actually had a conversation with him about the situation. And he's always just been very frosty with me. So I thought that this was him using this opportunity. I let him in. I was very nervous. That day I was really having a hard time. You know, I hadn't slept in like 2 days. I hadn't eaten. I was just constantly crying. I was just in a very, very, very bad state. And he sat down and his energy was very demeaning, very, very hostile. I remember just saying, you know, hi, what did you want to talk about? He just basically started bombarding me with all these questions about my dad's night, and I was trying to explain to him, but it very felt like a questionnaire. It started to feel as if was sent here to question me. Someone had given him a list of questions to ask me. That's how it felt. It didn't feel organic. It didn't feel sincere, because I couldn't understand how this man can have so much questions for me when before all of this happened, he didn't have anything to say to me. He had his phone and he was recording me. I had noticed, because the way he was holding his phone, it was like he was looking at me, but he was doing this, like he was going like this to me. And it was just really weird. And he basically was like, oh, why did you speak about the issue to the family relative? And when I explained to him, I said, you know, at the time, you know, everyone left me. I felt like it was safe to talk to her about it. I apologised to my older sister, but at the same time, you guys were abusing me. And only go off what my sister has told me. That's not my fault that she's come back to tell you. So he turned around and said I was disgusting and my dad will be ashamed of me. He said some really horrible things. How I'm shaming my family, I'm shaming my dad, I'm disgusting. I told him countless times, I said, can you leave? I like to ask you to leave, please. I like to ask you to leave. He wouldn't listen. He kept holding the phone in my face. You're disgusting. You're disgraceful to your dad. And I lost it. So I picked up his shoes. I said, get the fuck out of my house. Excuse my language, but I lost it. Because that's enough to drive someone insane. I picked up his shoes and I threw it because he wouldn't leave. He just wouldn't leave. He just kept on attacking me, saying how my dad's ashamed of me, filming me in my face. I'm trying to get him out. I said, get out, get out. I'm standing at my door, get out of my house. And he was like, you're disgusting, you're so shameful. You should be ashamed of yourself. And then he left. And that day, I was ready to jump off my balcony. I had had enough. I felt so alone. I've never felt so attacked. I've never felt so... That day was... It was an icing on the cake. It was like he came here purposely to make me kill myself. That's literally how I felt, because you come here to try and portray that you're trying to console or try to be... I don't know what his intentions were, and I guess this was just his perfect time to attack me. When I look back, I think, oh, I should have known, but I wasn't to know, because he doesn't remember. This man doesn't speak to me, you know. I've only heard of the abuse that he does towards my half sister. He's never actually physically shown me, and that was abuse to the max. To come in my own home and violate me, make me feel scared in my home. The fact is, I'm asking you to leave, and you're telling me the most cruel thing. My dad's just passed away, and you're saying cruel things like that. So after that, we got to the point where we were trying to finalise things with my dad's funeral arrangements. This is when things started to get really malicious. The only person that we were in contact with my sister, my oldest sister, she was very much acting. It was like she was, I mean, you know, my sister does have a degree in acting. It wasn't a shock. She was basically portraying that she understood, because she was there, she saw everything that was happening, but at the same time her job was to portray me, my younger sister. She was doing little weird things, like we had to go to her to ask how we can basically go and see our dad in the morgue, to say our last goodbyes. She purposely was changing our time slots. She was asking for money for the funeral cars, yet she had raised all this money on through GoFundMe. A lot of weird things that she was doing. She accused my younger sister of fraud. Everyone in my family knew that my dad would always give his phone to Rihanna. You know, my dad and Rihanna were very close. They had a very close relationship, and my dad trusted Rihanna as well as vice versa. So my dad's half sister, she had reached out and to me, my younger sister, after the night, and she had expressed that maybe we should meet up to have a talk. I tried to explain to her over the phone what had happened, but this is when I started to notice certain patterns that was happening when people asked me a lot of questions, but weird questions. My dad's sister would ask me, am I working? Am I in a relationship? Do I work from home, or do I work out? Am I still making money? What times do I get home in the evenings? Just weird questions. These questions were very, very familiar. Very familiar questions, what they had asked my stepnan before they broke into the house and stole my granddad's assets from my stepnan. I started to pay attention to these questions because, first of all, my dad's sister, she's not really present in my life. She was only present in my life when we were younger, when my dad used to take us to see her. Throughout my whole teenage and my adulthood, she's not been in my life at all. But all of a sudden she wants to know these questions, which was very weird to me, because she was there and had seen how these people had treated her brother's children. You know, when you see me, you see my dad. I'm a splitting image of my dad. And me and my younger sister were so vulnerable. We were on our own. She decided to ask us to come and meet her. We went all the way down to East London, and we met up with her. We went to a restaurant that was quite expensive anyway, bearing in mind, you know, we're trying to save every penny we have to contribute to my dad's funeral. We had to get prepared to know that we were getting pushed out because of the fact that my older sister started to sabotage. We had to literally beg my sister to know what's the update on my dad's funeral. You know, they were keeping us out of the loop. Me and my sister went to meet my dad's sister, and we basically tried to explain to her what was going on with my birth mum, and we were just saying, you know, about the abuse and what has been happening. Like, our family have been pushing us out, and we really just need some help. We need someone that could try and step in, seeing as like she's my dad's sister. We was hoping that she could understand, you know, she was there, she was a witness. Me and my younger sister thought we all had the same intentions by doing right by my dad, you know, that we don't want any conflict. We just want our dad to have the best send off. That's all we actually cared about. It turns out that they had got to her, and she was, you know, when we was expressing that our mum was abusive and, you know, all of the weird, horrible things that were going on, she very much defended my birth mum and was basically saying, you shouldn't say horrible things about your own mother. Me, my younger sister knew that, you know, she wasn't going to believe us. Even if we were bleeding out in front of her, she wouldn't believe us. So we kind of had to put two and two together and just kind of realise that we were on our own. And, you know, it was just a piss take because we've literally travelled so far. You know, we live like 2 hours away from where this auntie lives, and we've come all this way just for her to dismiss us and text on her phone when we weren't looking. You know, my intuition does tell me that we was being recorded, but I don't really know. You know, these people, you know, this cult, you know, they've done a lot of weird things. My older sister was being really sending a lot of abuse to my younger sister, using her a fraud, which is absolutely crazy because we were literally we had to literally beg my sister to tell us what was going on with my dad's funeral. We didn't even know where our dad was being buried. We didn't even know where he was in the morgue. We didn't know when his funeral was going to take place, where it was. We didn't know anything. We literally had to beg my sister to tell us. They told me and my younger sister that they want to hold 2 funerals that will be separated. So they wanted me and my younger sister to have a funeral with my cousins and only us, and the rest of them to have a separate ceremony, which is weird as fuck. Yeah? Sorry, excuse my language, but it just makes my blood boil that they can think that that was okay. Me and my sister, we had to go down to the morgue. We had to beg the people. We had to do like so much deep diving to find out where my dad was, to beg the funeral directors to please help us. It was so embarrassing, like having to just beg another person to give us information. My birth mum had to, because she is put down as a next of kin, even though my mum and dad are divorced. And that is fact, because my dad had told me before he passed away that they are finally divorced. But again, you know, when you're dealing with horrible, greedy leeches, right? She's running with this, oh, my husband, when she knows damn well that they are divorced. We begged the funeral directors like to tell us information of when my dad's funeral was, and that is the only way if we hadn't begged them, we wouldn't even know. We would probably have had missed my dad's funeral. My birth mum had told the funeral directors to specifically not tell me or my younger sister. We are not allowed to know any information. So there was a lot of information she had to hold back. But in the end, only by God's grace, because she can see how hurt and how distraught we were. We literally could never forget that day. It was just literally begging. Me and my sister were doing it. We were not taking no for an answer. We were begging them, please tell us, you know, our family, they've kicked us out. We want to say goodbye to our dad. You know, all the shame was out the window. By the grace of God, God answered our prayers. You know, honestly, I've always had faith in God. Always been and always will. But my faith was so... the way I've never prayed so hard in my life. And I feel like through all of this, God helped and saved us. You know, if it wasn't for God, I probably wouldn't have missed my dad's funeral. I remember when we found the morgue where my dad was, and we literally had to beg the woman to say goodbye to my dad. You know, it took a while to even get a chance to be accepted, to let them know that we're his daughters. You know? And again, through the grace of God, we met a lovely woman, and she consoled us, and she was like, I'm so sorry for what you're going through, and I can see you're his daughters, I can see him in you, and you go inside. And it was just horrible, and it was just like an absolute nightmare. And yeah, after that we had to beg my sister again to let us know about the wake, like where the wake was, because again, we didn't know anything. We hadn't had any information. There was no invitation. There was like nothing. We literally had to beg, like, despite of all the abuse that they were doing to us, the blackballing, the evil, horrible things they were doing to us, we had to beg. When I say I've never begged in my life, we had to beg. They decided to hire a security guard, although they said that they had no money for transport. My sister kept requesting me to pay money. It turns out that half of the funeral was already paid for. But before my dad had passed away, he already had that conversation with me. So, yeah. I guess he had told me this for a reason. I guess he had told me certain information because he had seen how they had treated my granddad. They had seen how they get on when it comes to someone passing away. The funeral, And it's hell because the fact is I'm going to my dad's funeral. I have to digest that. Second of all, we had to go to my half-sister's house, which didn't make any sense. God knows why we're going to her house for. It's not even her dad. And me and my younger sister saw my dad in a hearse. I just see my nephews, and I can just see my half-sister's sister-in-law standing there staring at me and my younger sister. If looks can kill, we would be dead. If looks can kill, we would have been dead. The evil looks we were getting from them, from all the people that they had there. My birth mum was there staring, my sister there staring, just staring at me and my sister, while me and my sister are crying, bawling, bad. Because my dad is in a coffin, in a hearse, and we're outside, and we have to sit in a car with these witches. At this point, I see them as witches because I just can't understand. I can't understand. We didn't deserve this. Why did they do this? We got support from one of the hearsemen. The hearseman can see the dynamic, and he gave us a hug and said, stay strong, because there's like a group of our family just standing there staring at us. The kids were like, it was like they weren't even allowed to say anything to us, and at the same time it's their granddad that's in a coffin in the hearse. Then we got in a car and we're sitting in a limo, and all I can hear is my birth mum and my sister laughing. They're making jokes about what they watched on TV or whatever rubbish that comes out of their mouth. They're laughing as if we're going to a fun fair, as if we're going to a wedding, when we're literally in a car behind my dad in a box. My half sister's just sitting in the back on mute, just on mute. While my sister is breaking down. She's literally breaking down, and I have to hold her up and reassure her that everything's going to be okay, that we got this, that dad is with us, that we're going to be strong, we've got this. You're not going to give them what they want, but this is for dad. We're going to stay strong for dad. The car journey was like literal hell. Just hearing my birth mum and my sister laughing as if like they've just won the lottery. That was just crazy. We got to the church and there was people that I've known since I was a child, people that were my family. Most of them are from my mum's side. Shock, I was really surprised that there wasn't my dad's friends. My dad, he was in a union. He worked for First bus driving company. There was a lot of people that he would have loved to come, and they didn't get an invite, so they purposely made it about them. There was loads of people that should have been there that didn't get to be there because, when you're dealing with people that all they care about is money, they don't care that my dad died. They just want to know what's in the pocket. They want to make a show, make it about them, invite all your family members when they blatantly don't like my dad because of what my mum has manipulated everyone to believe over the years, because she doesn't get what she wants. We were in the service and I'm sitting with my younger sister, and there's like people, my half sister and her friends are at the front of my dad's service. There's people that don't even know my dad are sitting at the front of the service. I don't really understand why. Since you want to sit in a car with us, why is it that me and my younger sister are sitting rows behind as if we're visitors. We're his daughters. You look at me and my sister and you see my dad. We're literally sitting like 2 or 3 rows down from the front of my dad's service. And then who decides to come and sit next to me? My birth mother comes to plonk herself next to me to make me flip. I remember, you know, these people think that they're smart, but I'm always 10 steps ahead. You've stepped me up so many times and you've tried to outrun me, but I'm always 10 steps ahead. So I knew my birth mum specifically sat next to us to aggravate us, to make us even more mad, even more, because she was already started in the car by sitting behind us and making jokes as if we're going to a concert. Me and my younger sister are bawling, we're crying. Our heart literally came out of our mouths, how deep and how hard it was for us. And then you come and sit next to us in a service. Crazy, right? This is true story. As the service goes on, the pastor that I mentioned earlier, that this man just come and said that he's friends with my dad and he was always talking about money. He wasn't at the night, but he was here he was obviously hosting the service. He decides to take us all, me, my younger sister, my birth mum, and my siblings and their partners, and told us to hold hands and how we was meant to pray, and specifically made me hold my mum's hand. I don't even know why I held her hand, but you know what? It's out of respect. Making us hold hands with people that like literally are trying to traumatize us, trying to make us go crazy, you know. Anyway, moving forward, when we were in the service, the pastor, as he's preaching, he keeps looking at me and my younger sister. And again, the reason why I know this, me and my younger sister, we're at the corner of the church. So you would know when someone's looking at you, right? We're at the corner of the church. It's not like we're in the centre, we're in the corner. And every time when he was having his words to say, it was like he was trying to tell me or my sister, like, I paid attention to it because the message that he was trying to say was about conflict, you know, the truth will set you free, like trying to insinuate, but in a way as if he's trying to direct a service. It was kind of like, it was very strange. And even when he wasn't speaking, I kept feeling like he was looking my way, like he kept looking at me. And I found it was very strange because he never came to me, my younger sister, and sent his condolences, yet he was there when my dad passed away. He was besties with my dad, but was always talking about money. But since then, didn't see anything. He hadn't done anything. Didn't even say sorry for your loss or how are you coping or anything, which was weird, very weird, very strange. No shock, because around the time that we were begging my sister to be a part of my dad's funeral. My sister took it upon her to basically say that I wanted to say a prayer. I don't know if that was a dig, I don't really know, but whatever. I remember she was trying to dictate to what my sister's last words were, my younger sister's last words. But I'm glad that my younger sister did what she wanted to do by saying her last words to my dad. To top it off, when it was time for me to go up to read a prayer, never guess who decides to plonk herself next to me at the altar. My birth mother, my literally arch enemy, because at this point I know my mum wants me out of here. I know she's wanted me dead for many years, and she decides to stand up next to me and put her hands on me and tap me again in front of everyone. I was so weak, I just cried. I couldn't even say the words because I'm doing the best that I can to not give her a reaction. I'm trying my best to show my dad respect, I'm trying my best to not lose my shit. Plus, I'm in a church in front of everyone, and she did this to try and get a rise out of me. You know, wicked woman. And I know this is so triggering because I'd never in a million years think I'd ever be saying these things about my own birth mum. If it wasn't for my mum, I wouldn't be here, you know. And trust me, I have loved my mum for so many years. I put up with so much abuse from my mum, and she just hates me. You know, I used to beg her to put me up for adoption because she never loved me. But anyway, I don't even want to get into that. That's a story for another day. My half sister got to say what she wanted to say, and she was just crying. But I don't think she was crying because my dad died. I think she was just crying because deep down she knows what she did was wrong. She knows that my dad was her dad. When her dad wasn't present in her life, my dad was there for her. My dad took her in like he was her own dad, you know, and she sold out the sisters that would do anything. You know, me and my younger sister would do anything for my older sister. We loved her, you know, we'd do anything for her. Whenever she needed anything, we would be there. And she sold us out because she didn't want to be honest. She didn't want to live in her truth. The service was coming to an end. I went to the toilet and I needed a minute, and because I just couldn't stop crying. I just couldn't believe that, like, it's my dad's funeral and my family, my mum is really trying to get a rise out of me. You know, having to just face this just with my sister, and we're the youngest out of them, you know, we're the youngest out of my family, and they can all just sit there and not have no remorse. You know, all these people in this room are meant to love us and support us, and not one of them could say sorry for your loss at my dad's funeral. When you see me, you see my dad, and you have no remorse. You have no empathy. You don't care. So, whatever my mum had made, whatever smear campaign that my sisters had made about me and my younger sister, well, I think it's actually me. I think they only attacked my sister because they showed that they were trying to get my sister away from me so they can attack me more, because I guess one person against a whole group of people, it'll be easier for everyone to believe the lies. All these people just staring at me, and they're supposed to be my family. They can see I was literally breaking down on the floor, and there was only one person I can actually say that gave me support, and that was my sister's best friend. She was the only one that showed compassion and showed support. If she hadn't been there and helped me when I was falling to the floor in the church, I don't know, because they all were looking at me in disgust. I literally thought that they must have said that I killed my dad, because the way that I was treated at my dad's funeral, it was as if someone has said that I have killed my dad. Never felt hated in my life like that. I've had a lot of people that hate me for whatever reason. My life has just been consistent of people trying to bring me down, and I'm just a humble person, you know. I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I'm just me. I do well by people. I'm different. I guess it's my gifts that I have that God has given me. I don't know. I really can't tell you because I don't live in their brains, clearly. But I just can't seem to understand how you can go to someone's funeral and you can't even say sorry for your loss. And those people that were at the funeral, they were there at my dad's niner and saw everything that happened from start to finish, and they turned their back on me. Went to the wake, and when I say they hired a security guard, I don't really know why they hired a security guard, because Like, what do they think, like, that we were going to fight them? Fight them? Absolutely not. We're not going to give you something when this is about my dad. This is about my dad. This is my dad's funeral. This is all about my dad. My nephews weren't allowed to speak to me or my younger sister. They literally weren't allowed. It's like they were told that they weren't allowed to speak to us. That was heartbreaking. And we were very close with my nephews and my niece as well. That was really shit. My birth mum and her wicked sister, they were all just standing in the corner by the bar, all trying to whine like this is like a disco. They looked absolutely pathetic. I just know that they felt shame, because I don't really know why they would hire a security guard. Yeah, because I'm going to start fighting all of you. I'm going to let God deal with you. And it's crazy because they all should know me by now. The amount of times they have initiated me, they have literally burnt me at the stake, they've crucified me so many times, they have blackballed me, they have annihilated me, they have bullied me so much, they have literally abused me, and I just stay silent because I believe there is power in silence. Why should I have to fight for people to see who I am? Every single one of them that I actually knew, not these weird cousins from the bush, but I'm saying, like, my actual mother knows me to the core. You know, when she has gone through some dark times, I have been her counsellor. I have helped her through so much. When I first got depressed, she told me to call the doctor, you know, and this, you know, my mother claimed to be a psychiatrist and how she was a nurse and how she's all of this, but when I was about to jump off the bridge when I was 21, she told me to go to a doctor. You know, when I asked my mum, you know, why don't you love me? And she just ignores me. When I asked her, why does she hit my sister? She ignores me. You know, my mother clearly needed help. She needed help. And my sisters know this. There's people in my family that know this, and no one is doing anything. They can see that her two younger daughters that live with, the last that live with her, we're screaming for help and no one's listening. We're screaming for help and no one cares. Everyone just keeps it silent. Everyone, and now it's so bad that she's gone on the dark side, and she's done a lot of witchcraft on me and my younger sister. And people are afraid of her now because they know what she's capable of. And it's even worse because she's with her wicked sister who, boy, I don't know for that one still. The older I get, the more I realise there's people in my family, a lot of them have disappeared. When I was younger, there was a lot of people that just left my family. No one to see, nowhere to be heard. And I never understood why. I never understood why people just disappear. I never understood why there was so much dark stories about my family, you know, in Jamaica. You know, there was some serious things that happened to my birth mum and her siblings when they were younger. Why my nan died mysteriously, no one even knows. You know, I've heard so many stories about my real nan passing, and no one even knows how she passed away. There's just a lot of, I know right now this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but I know that this stops with me. You know, I'm not going to suffer in silence anymore. And it's so frustrating because, like, there's so much to this story. There's so much to still unpack. You know, I'm literally dealing with a cult. You know, God has revealed. During this time, I've had a lot of visions, a lot of downloads of God showing me what's really going on. And one day I will share. I don't think I can actually unpack this in one video because this is already long as it is. My family are really in a cult. My mum's a part of a cult, and I don't say this lightly. This is actually very true. 2018, my birth mum had taken me, my younger sister, my two older sisters to this event. It was meant to be about a sickle cell event to raise awareness. At the time, I didn't really pay attention to the actual leaflet. Now, I have this thing ever since I was a child, when there's like special moments in my life or something that I really enjoy, I have a memory box, and in this memory box I save like all nice things that I've done throughout years and stuff, so in hopes of one day I'll look back, or maybe in the future when I have children I can show them like all what I've done in life. Early 2022 I was having a clear out of my wardrobe, and I come across my memory box, and I completely forgot about my memory box, because this is a memory box from when I lived at my birth mom's house, and I saw the leaflet, and I don't know why I threw it away. I think I got scared, but on the leaflet there was the symbol of the Illuminati, and I'm not playing. I wouldn't lie about this. I wouldn't lie at all, because this is everything I'm saying is true. And I started to put two and two things together, and I realised that, you know, when my mum had turned and I started to have dreams of my mum, I remember I warned my mum. I told her I had this really bad nightmare, and sometimes when I have visions, I'll have visions twice, sometimes 3 times, of the same thing. And I remember that was one time when I had a premonition, and I warned my mum. God guided me to tell my mum to be careful. She started hanging around these group, and they started to wear purple. My mum kept coming back with random gifts, like she'd come randomly. She had a chair in the house. Randomly, she had certificates, and she just kept on coming home with like strange, like random gifts. And that's when I started to realise the house was getting dark. It was like there was like entities within the house. I started to see change in my mother's behaviour, and this is when she started becoming really abusive to my younger sister. And I kept warning her, like, whoever you're with, please be careful around these new people. And that's when I started to get a lot of visions of my family in cults, wearing cloaks, and just a lot of crazy downloads that I was getting at the time. As I digress into the passing of my dad, I was piecing jigsaw puzzles together. All my friends had turned against me, which brings me back to all them questions that people started asking me, if I had any friends or if I had a love life. And during the time, I had no love life. You know, I was single by choice, from 2019, because I went through a very, very hard time, and I was healing from that. With friendships, every single friend that I thought I had turned their back on me when my dad died, and every single one of them gossiped about me. Every single one of them treated me like shit. When they were asking me, I knew that I started to put two things together, and I realised this is black magic, and they needed to see what they were doing, if it was working, because why would you ask those specific questions when that was what was crumbling at the time? They tried to cancel me with my business. I feel like they were asking those questions because that's what the magic they were sending my way. And a lot of things to my cousins as well, at the time, because at the time my cousins were still in my life, and because the cousin that I bonded with, she was also getting a lot of downloads as well, very similar downloads to me, visions, with them being a cult, and just there was a lot going on. At the time they were attacking my sister. My sister was in and out of hospital a lot, so that was a lot to deal with as well. Having to, you know, just go through that is just horrible, and the trauma of hospitals, you know, and like just seeing my sister in pain like that all of a sudden. You know, my sister had to run away from home because of the abuse and the ambush that they were doing to my sister, you know, stealing my dad's phone off her, so they can find my dad's inheritance, clearly, because they all knew that my dad left something. And anyway, whatever. yeah, so it turns out that I basically put two and two. That was like the puzzle that I needed, and it turns out that the group that my mother is with is a whole cult. There was this girl that me and my younger sister were friends with who has caused a lot of problems within me and my younger sister's life. Also had made up rumours about me because, you know, she wasn't brave enough to be honest about her infidelity, using me to cover up her affairs, then blackballing me, and then getting involved with my family, knowing that she's meant to be our friend. And she actually came to my dad's funeral. She bought my mum and the evil auntie a drink from the bar. So that's basically given them a high five from how they've treated me and my younger sister all day by literally terrorizing us, and you go and buy them a drink. This young girl, because she is a young girl that's clearly tapped and has nothing better to do in her life, try to be the middleman in terms of like, oh, well, your older sister said I can babysit your nephews and nieces, know fully well that our nephews and nieces have been pulled away from us. She would just do spiteful things like that. Try to get my younger sister to stay away from me once again. The list goes on. There's smear campaigns, how I tried to ruin her relationship, how I had something going on with her partner or whatever rubbish she was talking about. These times I'm just grieving my dad. These times I'm trying to save my life. These times I'm trying to not to kill myself. During that time, I'm dealing with a neighbour who also knows my family, and she's been causing me grief. That's just another long story. So no matter where I go, no matter where I turn, there was just always something. Eventually, my cousins started to one by one chip away from me. A lot of betrayal, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of lies, just so much hell, like literally hell. It's mad because, sometimes like I can say that, my family are trying to kill me, but they can't physically do something, but they can do things spiritually and torture someone so bad that they would just hopefully, in hopes that they would just kill themselves, because, what I was going through was crazy. Me and my younger sister, we were getting a lot of phone calls of people just breathing down the phone. That also happened with my stepnan. They kept doing that where they would call her phone and they would just be breathing down the phone. Gang stalking, I started to get gang stalked where my half-sister's partner would drive past my house, knowing fully well that I know his number plate, I know his car, I'm not silly, and plus I'm intuitive, so I'm aware of what's going on. They would be stalking my social media, even so sick that they would make fake accounts of my nephew and portray to be my nephew and send me messages. They would gang stalk me in terms where they would send people that I know that they know. They will stalk my page, be on my watching me and stuff, randomly just liking my videos. And I've realised that they do a lot of things on moon cycles. So every time there's a full moon, me, my younger sister, and also my cousins at the time, we would get attacked. I'm not gonna lie, there has been a time where I didn't had my older sister blocked, and I had gone on her page and I found out that she was also pregnant with I have now a niece that I don't know. Yeah, that was shit as well. Once again, it's happened again where I've had a niece that I will never know because of their parents. My sister decided to create videos because she's always dancing online. Having to see that after my dad's passed away, the whole my birth mum's house is all renovated and all done up, celebrating and showing that they were united, and they were taking pictures with family members that she herself doesn't even like, but that was all just to, shove it in our face, shove it in me and my younger sister's face to let us know that like they've got the money that they wanted, they've taken what my dad left for me, and that they're a union and they're happy that they've isolated me and my younger sister. someone kept on ringing my doorbell, and I'd answer and there was no one there. Knocking on my front door, no one was there, and it got to a point where I had to get a camera because it was enough to make me think that I was going crazy or going loopy. Not gonna lie, there was times where I thought there was something wrong with me, because why is it that my whole life I am going through this and go through it alone? It makes me sick that everyone pretended that they love my dad, yet every single time me and my younger sister go and visit my dad's grave, we're picking up the flowers that we laid the last time. No one even goes to see my dad. My dad did not deserve this. My dad was such a loving man, you know, and it makes me sick that they treated my dad this way. I know I'm strong. I know God wouldn't have put me through this if I couldn't handle it. And throughout this process of me being abused and ostracized and literally tormented, I'm still here. God, this is how, I don't care. Like, God is so real. God is everything to me. And if I, you know, if anything, it made me stronger. You know, my faith became so strong. No one can ever... God saved my life every single time. The amount of times I'm not even meant to be here. I'm not even meant to be here in this moment where I'm sharing my truth. There's so many times I couldn't have been out of here, but no, God has me here for a purpose. And the enemy doesn't like it. He's trying to put me out by literally using my family. Everything that I've ever loved has hurt me, you know. Even down to my own roof over my head, where I'm experiencing a neighbour that is trying to torment me. I still push forward, I still remain humble. I still show kindness to people. And throughout this, there's still been so many things that I've experienced, having to lose all my friends that I loved. I even had one friend that I opened up to, and I told about me having fears of my dad passing away, and then my dad passed away. And she would message me and I'm saying I'm really, really struggling right now, and she would love heart it. She got kicks out of me feeling sad. I basically confronted her and I said, it'd be nice if I can just have a friend, someone to talk to. And, this person, she's also, not to say that she's meant to understand, but in a way she's lost a parent. And I thought that I could be able to be understood because she's gone through this, and maybe I can learn something from her. Again, I really put this girl on a pedestal. I really thought that she was my soul family, and her response was, the world doesn't revolve around me. And she just got really nasty and saying that I'm being selfish because I'm just asking for help. And I was so shocked because I've never had anyone say anything like that to me before, because I'm a very selfless person. Most of the time I never ask for help. I've never been good at asking for help. I've always had to do things myself. I struggle with that to this day, and her saying that was crazy. And she showed her true colours, even though I kind of knew she never really... I got signs from early, but I really cared about her as an individual. And she turned against me, and then everyone just blackballed me and stopped talking to me because of whatever narrative she ran with. I was so shocked that I literally just told her to leave me alone, because my dad just died and that's your response. Okay. Another friend of mine who I always had a toxic connection with, but I remember one time she was just to me, so casually, well, when you're over it, let me know so we can go out and party. And she also teamed up with girls that left me when my dad died. So I was really going through it when it comes to friends, and I was their friend, they wasn't mine. And the one time I've ever needed them, they showed their back, they showed their mask. And that was another heartbreak that I needed to heal from. And to this day, there's so many connections I had that I still to this day don't even know why they did what they did to me. I don't really I didn't deserve this. I would never treat them this way. And most of them, I was like their counsellor. I was their friend. And I guess the one time I needed them, they couldn't do that for me. They couldn't just be there for me. They all turned their back on me, every single one of them. My nan had to, she turned against me, ended up asking me those questions again. I understand why my nan had to, because, she's scared. She's been in the shoes that I'm in. So I completely understand. My cousins, they did the same thing. I went away with one of my cousins who I had a good bond with. I started to see the real deal. Very uncomfortable encounters, like waking up and having you stare at me when I'm sleeping. Imagine you're sleeping and someone's just watching you sleeping, and like just saying a lot of things like, oh, we're getting dressed to go to dinner, why are you wearing that? Like starting to project how her insecurities towards me. Towards the end of the holiday, I started to move away because I started to feel uncomfortable around her. So I just started to make some friends because I didn't know what else to do. But we got to the airport, and when we were on our way back home, I had an issue with my suitcase. You know how they are with Ryanair, the worst airline. Basically was like I needed to pay like €50 to fly with my mini suitcase, and this is like a cabin size suitcase. I felt like it was a racial situation because they literally picked me from the bunch and I was pretty much the only black one there. They were just being really horrible and mean to me, and my cousin just left me basically. She just literally left, got on the plane, didn't really give a shit. She can already sense that I can already pick up on the weird vibes. I nearly missed my flight, and when I got back on the plane, the people on the plane were trying to give me a reassurance like, you should report them. What they did to you is disgusting. Are you by yourself? I can't believe that they're racist. Like, my cousin just didn't do anything. She just smiled, actually. She thought it was quite amusing. She probably did that to me, who knows. She told me exactly how she felt about me, which was very insightful. It was very similar to her siblings that she also complained about a lot. But anyway, it's none of my business. It's all a mess. I'm not here for it. I rather just be left alone. I don't have any more room for more torture because I'm just trying to be a kind person. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not perfect, but I mean well by people. All these people that have betrayed me, I've helped them in their life. I showed them love. I showed them compassion. The people that have hurt me the most, I have showed them grace. I have kept my mouth shut probably way too long. I've always been different. Ever since I was a child, I've been psychic, and I know that God gave me this gift to help. That's the whole reason. I know I'm not the only one out here that's going through this. Like, in a way, with my Mystic Leaks page, I've connected with so many people. There's people out there that are going through things that I've gone through, or even worse than I've gone through, and that's given me hope that, like, I'm not crazy, like, I've had so many people that are saying I'm crazy, and I know I'm not. I am close with God. God is everything to me. God has saved my life. God is so real, and I will scream it to the heavens. I've gone through so many things in my life, and I know this is such a long video, and there's so much that I've even unpacked in detail because there's a lot. I know that God has led me here for a purpose. God has sent me here to help the world, and I will do that, and I won't be stopped. I cannot be stopped. And the reason that I am sharing my truth is because I'm tired. I'm exhausted from this. I'm shattered. Since then, there's just constantly been attacks. My ex family, my ex-friends, I know that they're all watching me. I'm aware. I think all the abuse, all the bullying, all the lies, and all of the things that you stole from me, everything that you've done has only made me stronger within myself. It's only made my faith grow stronger. It's only my gifts are in heightening. Like, you lot are trying to plot against me, but I already know. You lot think I'm stupid. This journey I'm on isn't for the weak, and I really had to be strong in my faith. I really had to awaken to who I am and realise, like, the fact that, like, why is it that it's people always sending for me? Why is it that people would rather me be 6 feet in the ground? Why is it that my mum wants me dead? Why is it that my family keeps sending me shut up spells, I don't know. I guess I would never know because I don't work for the enemy. I work for God above I will continue to share my light and my knowledge, and I hope that this can reach someone who might be going through what I'm going through, because I know this is really rare. I know that maybe there is people that are going through this in silence that can't find their voice. I hope that this will find you to speak your truth, free yourself. And trying to be free of my pain and my trauma and the past. You know, my family, they are my karmic family. They live in the past. They live in washing machines where they go round in the cycles over and over and over again. But eventually someone's going to have to stop that cycle, and I will be that one. If my family want to run around and say I'm crazy and I'm evil, whatever lies they want to do behind my back, so be it. Because I'm not even, God has removed me from them. I'm not around them, you know, I'm not even harming them. There's so many, they've made up so much lies about me, and I'm not even around. Every single time they've attacked me, I just move myself. Why would I want to sit around narcissism, greed? Why would I want to do that? Lies, manipulation, fraud. Because you lot are all frauds. You all stole, my family stole from me what was rightfully mine. But that's okay, because you know what? Have it. You probably spent it anyway. It's nothing to do with me. That's down to you and God above. I'm going where God leads me, and you hate me that much. It's like, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. I'm aware that this video, you know, it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers, you know, and there's been times where I have been really scared of if someone's going to come and take me out. I mean, I nearly did with the warlock that they set me up with. I definitely dodged a massive bullet. You know, I didn't even realise that I was in the hands of the devil. And, you know, I will unpack that story one day. Every single time you try to hurt me, you literally hurt yourself. Whether people believe me or not, I don't really care. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. This is what I have been going through. This is how I survived. And how I survived, I focused on myself. I focused on God. I focused on my faith. I focused on healing, understanding that I'm not the problem, understanding that I didn't deserve what I gone through, understanding that I'm not going to change myself to match their energy, understanding to lean in and focus on moving forward. How am I going to move forward? And trust me, I've been there. I have been back and forth. Every single time I fall down, like literally last week, my family literally attacked me again, and I'm at the point where I can't do it anymore. I can't keep suffering in silence. I've suffered in silence my whole entire life, and I cannot do it anymore. People want to crucify me because of it, because I'm speaking my truth. Fair enough, that's fine. If people want to do that, that's great. Like, I don't know what else to do, but I have a good heart and I mean well by people, and I've had to learn how to forgive every single one of these human beings for doing what they did to me. Sure, I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect. Like, who wants to be? You know, I learn from my mistakes. You know, I make mistakes and I want to learn from them. I will never understand, you know, what has happened to me. I will never understand it. And for so long, so many years, so many people have tried to take me out, tried to literally make me feel so small. Just would rather get this off my chest. And, you know, if they do come for me, then at least someone knows. So this is the end. This is the end of my suffering. This is the end of hiding behind the shadow. It's time for me to live my life. It's time for me to fully start again and be free, and to not be the victim anymore, because I'm not a victim anymore. I am free from these narcissists. I'm free from my karmic family. I'm free from abuse. I'm free from pain. I'm free from lies and deceit, you know. Whatever you do with it, that's fine. Maybe some of you don't really care that much, but for me, this is the day where my book begins.